Hey everybody, I'm going to show you how I feed all the inhabitants of my tank. So I'll just start with an overview of the kinds of food I use, and then how I deliver that food, and then I will show examples of me feeding all of them. So, starting over here is Reef Chili. Excellent product. I use it to feed all of my filter feeders, so all of my corals and my sea fan. And I use this little mixing bottle over here. You mix it up and you target feed and or just pour it in, and I'll show you what I do in a moment. Reef Chili is really awesome because it's really inexpensive for zooplankton, phytoplankton, any sort of filter feeder, from corals to sea fans, like I said, to mussels, sponges, anything like that. It's really inexpensive in the long run compared to frozen food or fresh food. SA Hatchery Diet. This is what I use largely for my fish. My clowns like it. It's the small pellet size that I use. The bigger size, which I'll show you in a second, is a little bit harder for my fish to eat. But whenever I pour that in, the shrimp kind of go crazy, and then my two damsels and my two clownfish will eat this up no problem. And I generally use this feeding ring to feed that, and I'll tell you why I do that when I show you the video. Lastly is the Thera. I have never actually looked at the name of it before. Thera New Life Spectrum. These are just larger pellets. I use these to feed the tank in general. I will either target feed some of these to my shrimp, or I'll just put a few in the tank and the snails will kind of go crazy for it, and also the shrimp will come out and eat this as well. Something really easy I can use every single day. I have tweezers over here, just really long tweezers. I use this for when I feed shrimp generally. I also use frozen shrimp. Make sure you don't buy cooked shrimp, but raw shrimp. And I cut it up into small little pieces, and I just put it in the freezer. And literally, I bought one shrimp like 3 months ago, and I'm still using it. I feed my anemone once a week with a little piece of shrimp, and I also feed both of my shrimp. I know it sounds like cannibalism, but they do eat shrimp. And I feed them once a week. Once I finish my one shrimp, I'm gonna go buy some scallops, or one scallop, and that'll last me for several months as well. And I just use this to target feed really easily. Lastly is the Kent Squirt target feeder. I'll show you how I use this. This is really good for using the Reef Chili target feeding corals with zooplankton, phytoplankton, that sort of stuff. And I'll show you how I do that when we come back. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, first up, I'm just gonna feed my hatchery diet. All I do is I put my feeding ring right up here that you can see, super cheap, out from Amazon. And the reason I do that is because this product is so small that it has a hard time breaking the surface tension of the water. And what I've noticed has happened is if I just pour it directly into the tank, it will just stay on the surface and go into the overflow. And any uneaten stuff sometimes will just pollute my tank. So I put in the feeding ring, I just open it up, I feed them twice a day, maybe once a day, just a very small amount, and just pour right into there. And if they're not too scared, you'll probably see here in a second, they'll smell it, and both my clowns and my damsels will come up here. They might be a little intimidated by the fact that this weird tripod is sitting right next to it, but there you go. It's awesome. And then what happens is if they don't eat it all, I will just kind of, as I'm removing the feeding ring, I will just kind of pat it up and down, and I'll just try to hit the pellets into the water so it breaks the surface tension, so that it will then circulate throughout the tank. And right now my cleaner shrimp smells it as well, and he's getting ready and excited for it. And I also like to feed this one first because the sea fan, if it's pulled in at all, will, I don't know if it smells it, I don't know how that works, I'm guessing it smells it, and it will slowly come out so that by the time I'm ready to target feed, it will be ready. Alright, so I'll just show you how I do this. As I take this off, I just kind of hit it down like that, and you'll see all the remainder of them go in. I did it a little bit quicker than usual. Normally I give them a little bit more time to eat, But that is how I feed my hatchery diet for my fish. So next up, I'm going to feed my anemone and my 2 shrimp. And all I have is, I just have pieces of shrimp that are frozen. And then over here is just a glass of tap water, and I just use that for thawing, is all. So I just go ahead and try to break off a really small piece, like this piece right here, if you can see in my hand, is going to be way more than everybody needs. But this is pretty much the smallest piece I have. So I'm just going to drop it in there, let it sit for a couple minutes, let it thaw out. Then I'm just going to cut it up and target feed all 3 creatures, and I will show you how I do that in 1 second. But before I do, I also do feed mysis shrimp from time to time. I don't use this to target feed my anemone. My anemone really doesn't take it. It'll grab onto the mysis shrimp and then just let them go, and I almost never see my anemone actually consume these. So I don't typically feed this to them. I feed this as like a treat to my fish occasionally, and when I do that, I'll show you how I do it as well. But until then, be right back, and then I'll show you how I'm going to target feed my 2 shrimp and my anemone. So here's this 1 piece. I'm literally just going to cut it up into extremely tiny pieces. And I'm not going to refreeze it, I'm just going to have a little bit of waste. So these 3 pieces here, I don't know if you can see, are still too big. So the pieces you are going to see me target feed, I'm going to probably do half of that. And this is the piece that I have left. So you can see a little bit goes a long way. Alright, when I come back, I will show you the target feed. Now the big tweezers I use aren't quite long enough to reach all the way down, so I do have to get my hands in the tank. So I'm sure a lot of you do this, but one thing you want to do always before you put your hands in the tank is give a nice rinse with hot water. Try, if you use soap, like if you were using some sort of cleaner, yeah, you can use soap, but then once you're done with the soap, rinse it off as best as you can. Ideally, if you have some sort of glove, that's even better, so you don't put whatever is on your hand into the tank. But I'm just using really hot water, rinsing off my hands as well as I can, so that I don't put anything in the tank that shouldn't be in there, because I was cleaning the house today especially, so I don't want any sort of bleach or anything like that to get in there. Okay. Alright, when I come back, I will show you the target feeding. First up, I'm going to feed the anemone. The lights are going out, and I don't want to change it. I don't like to change my lighting cycle very much. It can stress things out, so sorry it's super blue. So all I do is, I have my tweezers here. I'm going to come on down. You can see here, here's a little piece of shrimp. I'm just going to place it gently right in there. The anemone will grab onto it. And if I put it somewhere near the top, I find, it has a much better chance of grabbing onto it, having it right by its mouth so that it will consume it. That's all I do. If the piece is too big, I've noticed my anemone will spit it out, and the one I just fed it might be a little bit too big. So I'll just have to wait and see. If it does spit it out, I'll find it in the tank and I'll pull it out so that it doesn't decompose too much. Next up is the pistol shrimp. He hides. I like to tease him out a little bit. He probably will come right out and grab that. That's my guess. Let's see. Oh, he didn't like that. Ah. Oh well, you just saw. So 1 failed attempt is okay because my cleaner shrimp picked it up. So I'm going to go grab 1 more piece and we'll try feeding it to the pistol shrimp 1 more time. Alright, take 2. See if I can have success here. Put it really close. If the pistol shrimp's hungry, he'll come out and grab it. We'll see. He might not be hungry. I've been feeding him quite a bit of pellets lately. And normally if he's hungry, he literally will come right out for it. But he's not seeming too interested. Let's see. I'll give him a few more seconds, see if he wants to come out and grab it. Nope, not interested. Anyway, that's what I'll do to target feed. But he doesn't seem interested, so I'm just going to let him be. Yep. Oh, wait. Nope. Alright, I'm just going to take that back out.